Yo, what is the deal, everybody? What is the deal? Sorry for the delay, y'all, but welcome to another Raider Nation Unlimited. I'm your man, Wasted Talent. Salute to the chat on this beautiful Friday night, man. On this beautiful, beautiful Friday night. Salute to everybody that's up rocking with your brother Wasted, man. I know on the East Coast it is almost 10 o'clock, and out west is 7 o'clock. It's prime time out there. Do me a favor, get wasted with your brother Wasted. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this thing out to all social media, y'all. And everybody that's on Twitter, we got cookies over here. What's going on, everybody? How you guys feeling tonight? How you feeling? How you looking? How you living, man? I tell you what, man, it is a wonderful, wonderful, feeling knowing that we are we're about less than 48 hours for some Raider ball. My God, 48 hours away from Raider football, man. And it's time for the Raiders to get back on track, man. Get off the schneid, right? So we're going to talk about, the upcoming game. We're going to talk about the injury report. I know you guys have heard it. There are a lot of people that are excited that Jaden Daniels will not be playing in this game. To be honest with you, I'm going to be real with you, man. I wanted to go in there and actually beat the team with Jaden Daniels. I want to beat the team with him. I want to get that respect of going on the East Coast and being road dogs. But if I'm being honest, right, these are the kind of games that Marcus Mariota, being a backup and a guy that hasn't played, these are the kind of games that the Raiders lose. Right? If you guys can remember last year, Shieldmore was in the place to be. We thought that Carolina game was a winnable game. We were playing against the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. People forgotten about him. He's been wasting away on the bench. And guess what? We lost. And not only did we lose, we got embarrassed. So if history tells you anything, the Tyler Bagent game with the Chicago Bears, history will tell you anything about the Raiders, man. The only thing that's for sure, as the great Sting would say, is nothing's for sure. And the Raiders have to go down there and show that they're a different football team. Because even with Marcus Mariota starting, Marcus Mariota is a talented quarterback. He's been a starter in this league. He can make all the throws. He can run. And he's healthy. And the Washington Commanders have a lot of talent, man. So we're definitely going to get through this. If somebody is calling me Devon Dudley because of the blue blocker glasses, Devon, get the tables. So y'all don't remember the last time, we was rocking out. We actually met Bubba Ray Dudley, man. We were, or Bully Ray, whatever he calls himself now. We met him. He kicked it with us. You know what I mean? I spotted him. He came over and sat down with the fellas, man. Kicked it with myself and the rest of Shieldmore, man. So it was a splendiferous occasion, right? A splendiferous occasion, man. I tell you, man. Look, man. I had a rough day. So glad to be home. So glad to be right in front of y'all. So glad to be having my cup of Joe with my Raider Nation family, man. Salute. Let me get some shout outs and salutations before we get to cooking on the show. Wasted quoting Sting. Yeah, that's right. Raider Bubba, you already know, man. Listen, bro, I came up on wrestling. I'm not into the product that's out there now, if I'm being honest. But, I don't like the vanilla midgets. You know what I'm saying? Yo, my guy, Raider Devon. How goes the Wasted Talent Army? And what it do, Raider Nation? New member of the Wasted Talent Army. Blessed to be part of Raider Nation once again. Just win, baby. I appreciate you, Raider Devon. Appreciate you for pulling up and becoming a part of the Wasted Talent Army, my guy. Oh, my God, man. You're wasted not here, unsubbing. Demokes, listen, to be honest with you, Demokes, you might get banned permanently. You might get a lifetime ban in the gulags with your crap. With your nonsense. Somebody said something crazy. Somebody said Wasted is probably on the toilet reading the dictionary, yo. That's crazy. That's what you guys think of me, huh? William Vernoy, James Madison, Bama Comey, man. My guy's in a place, man. But, yo, the product is now awful. What the F are you talking about? Oh, you talking about wrestling, right? Yeah, nah, the product is crazy now. Crowd's crazy. We're not going to get into wrestling. This is a football show. This is what we will be getting into. So, look, there's a few things that we need to touch on today, right? You know, the injury report, right? So I got to show you guys the injury report. My energy will pick up as the show goes on because I'm actually a little whooped, man. I probably should have just took a shower again and went to sleep, but I took my shower, man. I came home and I'm just so relaxed right now, man. I'm vibing right now. But yo, here's the injury report, guys. Brock Bowers, knee was limited on Friday. You know, game status is he's going to be playing. Jeremy Chin was limited. The rest of them, you know, to get him healthy, you know, has a pectoral muscle strain. Jackson Powers-Johnson, full participant. He's ready to go. Justin Shorter, not listed, full participant. He's going to be rocking and rolling. And D-Cam, it's questionable, right? He has a hamstring injury. Hamstrings are tricky. But on the other side of the ball, man, I'm telling you, man, Von Miller will be playing. And you know, it's crazy. I had no idea that Von Miller was on the Washington Commanders, yo. I lost track of Von Miller. That's crazy that Von Miller, like, yo, it seems like every week we're going up against a master class of pass rushers, man. It's crazy, man. But tight end John Bates, Noah Brown, and Jaden Daniels are out. And that's huge for them. Their starting quarterback is out. Deebo Samuels will be playing. Colson Yankoff will be playing. Jeremy McNichols will be playing. Brandon Coleman will be playing. Trey Amos will be playing. And Laramie High-Stakes Tunsil, the gas mask extraordinaire, and Zach Ertz will be playing. So listen, man, these guys have a talented football team. You know, Cliff Kingsbury and that air raid system is something that is really an offense that is tailor-made for a guy with the talents of a Marcus Mariota. So, guys, don't expect to get any reprieve or any kind of break with the Washington Commanders. This is going to be a tough game, man. Yo, my guy Marv is in a place to be. Yo, wasted. How much did we win by? I know you can see it to the future. Hardy, har, Marvin. Marvin, listen, what I would tell you is this, man. Being that you look like a blind blues singer in your avatar picture, what I will do is I will send you the results of the game in Braille. Like a goddamn shaved bird. My guy, Big Lil Bosco, became a YouTube member as usual, man. Salute to my dog, Big Lil Bosco, man. Barbecue slapping the hell out of people. So, guys, listen. The Raiders have definitely got something. Yo, I'm just laughing at what y'all saying about Marvin. I'm sorry, man. Y'all gotta leave my man Marv alone, yo. He's first, always last. Always first, never last, man. Y'all leave my man Marv alone. That's my dog, man. But listen, man, the Raiders definitely have a big game ahead of them, man. This is a huge challenge that Pete Carroll faces, that the Raiders face. This is something that, to be honest with you, you know, really can set the tone for the rest of the season, right? You know, people out there will say that the Raiders are a terrible football team and they're going to win 6 games. But we know that this team is really on a road to kind of changing things around, right? We feel that way. We don't know that. We feel that way. Let's just be honest, right? But Jaden Daniels not playing and the Raiders going and losing is nasty business, man. Nasty business. And they got to go out there and they got to definitely shut Marcus Mariota down and take this game. This is a Max Crosby special. Now, I've seen Max Crosby be effective in the run game. He's been a beast in the run game this season. He really has. Salute to Max Crosby. But when it comes to getting after the quarterback, right? If I'm being honest, man, Max Crosby, man, I want to see Max Crosby have one of those Khalil Mack type games. I want to see Max Crosby dominate this game. Now, I know that Jaden Daniels is a terrific young player, but I'm telling you something. The offense is going to look very similar to what it would look like had Jaden Daniels been on the field. Marcus Mariota is very physically talented, even though he is a lot older. And Jaden Daniels is a fantastic young player, man. But Marcus Mariota has been a starter and has played at a high level in this league, man. Then you got a situation with shutting down Deebo Samuels and Scary Terry, you know, and to be honest with you, man, Deebo Samuels has been a guy that has been super physical. He's been a guy that, you know, can take it in from any point on the field. You know, this is going to be a load for the Raiders defense, man. This is going to be low for that Raiders defense, man. And this is a week. This is a statement game for the Raiders. This goes to show exactly how good this team is. How good is this defense? But it's crazy that we're in the beginning of the season and the Raiders are in a must-win game. Now, look, when we start talking about how the Raiders are going to win, first and foremost, you know, the Raiders got to score points, man. And Chip Kelly was supposed to bring a reprieve to this Raider offense that we haven't seen in a long time. And it doesn't seem like it's been happening, right? It doesn't seem like Ashton Jeanty has been ready to rock and roll. It hasn't seemed like the offensive line has been doing what they're supposed to do. So what can Chip Kelly do to try to pull this thing out and up? You know, the Raiders struggled against the Chargers defense, man. They struggled, man, and they look very, very pedestrian, right? So, look, one of the biggest reasons why, and we touched on this last night, man, I think the Raiders have to have a fail-safe for if Dylan Parham starts to get walked back into the quarterback's lap. That's clear, man. That's clear. Also, I think they need the real Geno's gunslinger mentality in right now. I think he has to play within himself. I think that the first 15 scripted plays should be very run heavy. I think they should be passing only on third down. I think the Raiders need to come out and really establish the run. I'm talking about 3 yards in a cloud of dust. First 2 plays from the scrimmage, runs. Seriously. And then on third down, you got to throw. It depends on how the ball is moving. But the biggest thing is that Geno Smith has to get back on track and start playing some more efficient football. You know, all of the big plays are cool, but it's not cool when you are throwing interceptions. It's not cool when you're throwing interceptions. Geno Smith has, you know, since 2022, he is tied with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen for the most interceptions in his league. Matter of fact, I think this weekend he just passed them, throwing all the interceptions he threw on Monday night. So listen, I'm going to be honest with you, man. This is also a Geno Smith special. Geno Smith needs to stay confident, right? He needs to make coherent reads, and he needs to understand that it's okay to check the ball down. It's all right to check the ball down, Geno. You don't have to get it all on one play, my brother. Look, I also think that, you know, some of these younger players, the Jack Beshes of the world, the Dylan Laubays of the world, need to get more burn and more snaps. It's getting to that point, man. Like, you know, I think it's time to take the training wheels off some of these guys and start giving some of these defenses some different looks out there. I mean, it's about that time, man. It is about that time. So listen, the main thing that the Raiders need to do to really get this game started off in the right perspective is show the Commanders that they are able to run the football, man. They need to show the rest of the league that they can run the ball, man. Right? And then also, listen, man, you know, the Washington Commanders are a team that has some pretty decent backups, right? And they're going to find some solutions for the places on their team that's affected by injury. I think that the Raiders and our fan base need to understand that just because Jayden Daniels is not playing, this is still a team that is a threat to the Raiders. Because if you look at it, man, they have a damn good roster, man. They have a damn good roster. Any wide receiver room with Deebo Samuel and Scary Terry is something that scares me. I'm going to be 100% real with you, man. But salute to everybody in the chat. Get wasted with your brother wasted. Tell a friend, man. Silver Smoke. JPJ is back. Jeanty's going to run his ass off. But Silver Smoke, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that the line will play better. But at the end of the day, right, to really, really allow, you know, Jeanty to really get off is for Dylan Parham to round into shape. You can't have it to where he's only able to run on one side of the offensive line and not have somebody sitting in his lap. Like, I think the Raiders got to run some more jumbo. I think the Raiders can run some sets where they can bring in an extra lineman as a tight end and things like that. I think the Raiders need to go out there and try to, impart their will on the other team. I think the Raiders needed to learn how to transition into a more physical ball club. And at the end of the day, JPJ not being center to me is something that I am very, very concerned about. I mean, I know you guys are too. I know you guys are too, man. But yo, for us to beat the Commanders, bro, we got to get the best version of Geno Smith, man. We got to get and I believe we will, man. But we got to get the best version of Geno, man. He needs to be more accurate. He needs to take what the defense gives him. He needs to not throw them rocket balls up there. My guy Ricky 2 times, man. Wasted. Do you think we have enough talent on the O-line for a competent run game? I think our guards are holding us back big time. We need to invest. Yeah, bro. Listen, that remains to be seen, right? I know that Jackson Powers-Johnson is going to be fine, right? I think he has the prerequisite talent, right? I worry about Dylan Parham. I've been saying it all week. And to be honest with you, it's getting to the point where they're going to have to try something else. You cannot continue to keep wheeling this guy out there when he's getting just beat like a redheaded stepchild. Salute to my brother. The best name on Raider YouTube in history. Fuck you with the $5 holla. What's up, OG? Now, listen, everybody is saying that we need to put JPJ back at center, but it is not looking like the team is ready to do that. You know, they made this decision based off of information in that building that they know and we don't, right? They made this decision, bro. And they're probably going to ride this decision till the wheels fall off. You know, we're seeing it from a bird's eye view. They're seeing it from the worm's eye view. They're right there with JPJ every day. They know his practice habits. They know the technique. They know whether he's grasping the system at large, right? These are things that we cannot overlook, bro, because the most important part of football, offensive football, is the exchange from center to quarterback. That is you can't do anything unless that's clean. And if there's a problem there, then now we have issues. Now, conversely, what I will say to you is this: JPJ played damn good last year at center. He played great. He played great. And the problem with Jordan Meredith is that he, on a week in and week out basis, if he is playing against a defensive tackle or he's playing against a defensive front that is not the strongest defensive front, he's not going to get exposed. He is going to go out there and he is going to play lights out for you. He's going to play lights out for you, and you're going to be like, man, Jordan Meredith is the answer, bro. He is it. I don't want to see no more. That man is it. But when you have a situation where you have a person like Christian Barmore, right? One of the better guys in the league. Now what? What happens when you got, you know, some guys that are like the Chargers? Those two kids the Chargers got up front. Those guys are no joke, man. Those are some big jokers, man. Big, man. Big dudes, man. So let me tell you, man. I look, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Yo, this whole situation, man, it reeks of Andre James, bro. It reeks of Andre James because statistically, when you look at the numbers, Meredith, Andre James, they look like they're phenomenal centers until the eye test shows you something different once they play against an elite player across from them. DeMarcus Webb, I didn't even see that. Yes, it does. It sounds eerily similar to Andre James. And I can't believe that the Raider brass are signing up for that. It's maddening, bro. Salute to everybody in the chat. My guy, Bad News Raider. Wait just a minute, Wasted. You act like the coaching staff can't make mistakes. Meredith looked terrible at center last game. Let me ask you a question, Bad News Raider. Who the F said that the coaching staff can't make mistakes? What I'm saying is that whether they made a mistake or whether they didn't, They are the ones who are ultimately in charge of making a decision whether to switch him back. And all the bitching that we can do is not going to change what the coaching staff is going to do. A lot of times, people in life make mistakes and they try to double down on it. They double down on it. I mean, my God, bad news. They double down on their mistake. We're not the ones who can change it. I can see clear as day that there's a physicality issue. I can see clear as day that the Raiders need to establish some physical football. You're not, all this finesse football is not going to win, bro. It's not going to win. They don't have the proper makeup of guys in the locker room right now to play at that level on a consistent basis. Bad news right here. Okay, let me ask you how the hell you know this, bro. JPJ is a natural center. Spytech promised Mariota the center position, and it's proven to be a bad decision. Bad news rated. You know what you're doing is you're spreading false news. You don't know whether or not John Spytech is the one who promised him anything. Why would he promise a guy that's been on his roster that was here when he got here? What are we talking about here, bro? What the F are we talking about here? Bro, at the end of the day, and you guys say Brennan Carroll has a history of battle lines and this and that. Look, you're only as good as the players who are playing with you. You're only as good. Like, it's not like we got a bunch of guys who are all pro players and somehow, some way, Brennan Carroll came here and ruined everything. I hate how everybody needs a boogeyman. Look, bad news rated. Let me ask you a question. You give me the quote where Jordan Meredith said that he was promised the job. Promised the job. Nobody gets promised a goddamn thing with the Raiders, especially with Pete Carroll. Promised. Post the interview. Yo, I've never seen you in here before, bro. Who sent you? Man, who sent you? Who the F sent you, Bad News Raider?
That's a tutorial that says you know what the fuck you doing.
I know. I mean, when are you gonna go out there? You post the interview. I got some bad news for you. I got some bad news for that ass. You are about to be unceremoniously blocked. Unceremonious. Oh my God. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Listen, you guys know I like to get after it with the guys in the chat, man. Arguing and stuff like that. Wait, let me rewind that. That was a terrible, that was terrible. Bad News said Top Beat sent me. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Could this be somebody who looks suspiciously like Top Beats? Could this be the great and powerful Top Beats trying to rebrand himself on YouTube? Are you trying to rebrand yourself, Top? You are a mod father. What the F is going on here, man? You trying to throw me under the bus? Yeah, you know what? You know what? I knew it. I knew it. I knew it, man. That's crazy.
God! Wow!
Rebrand. Listen, man, we got a low budget Top Beats in a place to be, man. Oh my God. But guys, listen. When we start talking about, you know, the offensive line, I don't think anything this offseason, if I'm being honest, is promised, right? I think that they looked at the body type. They thought he would work better. I think that they think that Jordan Meredith has a little bit more going on up here. And I think that is exactly why we are where we are with this situation, right? But at this point, man, at this point, at this point, these guys need to understand that they made a mistake, bro. It's a mistake. Like, having a great center, right, that can take on nose tackles one-on-one is invaluable, man. It is worth its weight in platinum, not gold, platinum, right? Also, this week, the Raiders secondary is going to be put to the test big time. Caillou Blue Kelly, this is a Caillou Blue Kelly special, man. You got Terry McLaurin as a tactician, man. He's a guy that just rolls out of bed and has 200-yard receiving games. This is who he is, man. This is who he is. And I'm telling you right now, the Raiders secondary and their offensive line is on the clock. Pass rush is on the clock too. The pass rush is on the clock too. I want to see a game that we haven't seen from Max Crosby, man. This is what I'm needing, man. Also, man, listen, guys, we're rolling into a space where the Raiders are gonna probably have to make a decision on Jacoby Meyers, man. Right? Because it is getting to the point where it's a bad look all the way around, right? Now, we all know that Jacoby Meyers had requested a trade, right? And was seeking an extension from the team. He's in the final year of his deal right now. The Raiders didn't give him one, and he requested a trade. And it never came to fruition. And I'm kind of looking at this team to, cut bait and get something for the guy or re him up. Because it's getting to the point where it's like, we are very, very big on hopium. We are very, very big on trying to develop these young players, right? But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's getting to the point where, they got to shit or get off the pot here. I'm always constantly thinking about this current season that we're in and winning, but I'm also thinking about the future, right? Because Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. And Raheem Mostert will be playing this weekend. He will be playing this weekend, man. I think the Zamir White situation is over, man. But salute to everybody in the chat, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Bad News Raider, the angry bum of Raider Nation. He goes, have you noticed that Geno has been throwing to him to prove his worth to the team? I think Geno's throwing to him because he's open, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Geno's throwing to him because he's open. And I don't think he's throwing to him to prove something to the team, bro. Like that, to me, that's like, bro, that's projecting, right, what you think on the situation. But in actuality, Jacoby Meyers is one of the only vets on his receiving corps. Jacoby Meyers is a guy that knows how to actually release and get open. I think Dante Thornton is a very talented young player, man. He's very talented. But I think that there's some gaps there with his release, right? There's some things and nuances that he needs to learn in this league to become the stud that he possibly can, man. Jacoby's the only receiver that's really consistent, man. He's the only one that's consistent. And, I think it's to the point where, the Raiders need to start developing these guys. And the way you develop these guys are reps, man. My guy Shock Bowers, if I see Zamir White return one more kickoff, I'm throwing my TV out the window. Yeah, man. It's been nasty work with Zamir. It's been nasty work, man. I think that experiment, I think that Dylan Parham and Zamir White, they're draft mates. I think they both need to be jettisoned out of here. I think I would be happy if the Raiders went out on the scrap heap and checked out the guard market on the scrap heap. I'd be happy if the Raiders can try to cook something up to trade Jacoby Meyers or something like that and bring in a damn guard. But I think the Raiders need to commit to this offensive line in a real way, especially making the investment in a player like Ashton Jeanty that you spent the 6th-round pick on. The 6th overall pick. You need to get a return on your investment. You need to go out there and mine the guard market. Maybe a favor for a favor. Maybe trading him to a team who has a guard that's coming up on a deal. Like something. But it's time, bro. It's time. And I hate the fact, because I love Jacoby, but he's really one of the only viable assets that we have. He really is. Because, and I'm talking about assets in the prism of an asset that you're willing to part with. An asset that you're really part with. Listen, for the Raiders to win 10 games this year, they're going to, unless Dylan Parham makes a humongous stride forward, they have to make a change on the offensive line. Somewhere, that whole iteration of these guys on the line, they need to change something. They need to change something. They need to change something, bro. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to say it 3 times like y'all know I always say. You need to change something. They need to change something. They need to change something. Oh, my God. Yeah, one-on-one, it does start with trenches. I was watching the Bills game yesterday, and they were using 2 tight ends to block for Allen when he dropped back. Can we do that for Geno? Mayer, Thomas blocking, Bowers out wide. I mean, possibly, right? I think that the Raiders need to start abandoning not the zone blocking scheme, but abandoning some of the concepts in his offense and go back to old school football. You guys know me, right? You guys know I'm an old school guy. I'm a guy who has been around this game, studied this game for my entire life, right? And the one thing that reigns true is physicality normally wins out. Physicality. Need more reps on the center instead of out and shotgun in the pistol. Yeah, Vaughn Views. But physicality wins out, bro. Yo, nobody's going to make a deal with you not to be physical with you if you're not physical with them. You got to get out there and you got to lay some heads to bed. That's the thing why I don't understand why the Raiders do not have somebody that can line up in the backfield and be a lead blocker for Ashton Jeanty. I don't get it. I will never understand it. The deficiencies that they have up front, like blitz pickup, things like that. If you have a situation where you have a good blocking tight end, they can pick up the weak side blitz. They're the ones that can sit back there and chip. I mean, it's time. Like if you're gonna have a bad offensive line, you got to scheme around that some kind of way. Just another DJ. Haven't seen a physical offensive line for the Raiders since 2016. Yeah, man. Kelechi Osemele, man. Pen Cake if Donald Penn. Rodney Hudson. Austin Howard. Gabe Jackson. Oh, my God, man. Oh, my God, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Get wasted with your brother Wasted. Listen, I guess it's Friday night. We don't have that many people here tonight, man. This is an intimate, late night wasted setting, man. I think this might be the last late night wasted for a little bit while. Next week, we're going to go back to our regular scheduled programming. We're going to go back to, 6:15 EST. We're going to give it to y'all there, man. Right? We're going to be doing a wake up with wasted on Sunday, too. I might have some company this weekend. Let me ask you guys a question, man. Let me take a little break. Let me take a little break, right? Let me take a little break from the football stuff. I want to ask you guys some personal, because it's a late night we're wasted, right? So sometimes we have a situation where we talk ball, and then sometimes we talk personal stuff. We're going to get a little personal right here, man. Let me ask you guys a question. Chat, what do you guys think, as far as the morning shows, right? Before the games, right? How many of you guys, my guy Sean Armgren's in the place, man. He said, I'm headed out for the game tomorrow. We better win. You damn right. My guy Sean is from Jersey. Salute. Wake Up with Wasted show. Would you guys like to see me have some co-hosts on with me? Do you guys like those shows when I'm solo? Like, what do you guys think about the Wake Up with Wasted show? Do you guys want more fantasy football, more gambling? Do you guys just want all Raiders? Like, what do you guys think about that show, man? You guys let me know. Let me know. My guy Bo Rock is in the place. He goes, yo, I like the late night, bro. I'm in LA. Yeah. My guy Joey Sheik is in the place. What would you guys like to let me? What would you guys like to see with the wake up with Wasted on Sunday, man? Yeah, no, listen. Hummingbird. He said, damn, I was enjoying the later time on the West Coast working on 5 p.m. But I can get you. You'll be starting out at 8:30 your time, bro. Ah, man. I appreciate y'all, man. But nah, let me ask you, Franklin Skinner, Raider/fantasy. I'm always questioning my lineups, right? All right, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, nah, look, the post-game shows, I'm gonna be honest with you, I do those by myself. Sometimes I like to talk my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like now, sometimes I like to talk my shit, man. That's why I got a podcast. I love my guys. Sometimes I like to talk my shit. Post game shows, I'm gonna be doing them by myself, man. Sometimes I bring somebody on for the most part, but a lot of times that's my venting session with the nation, man. Raiders, fantasy football in general, I'm cool with it all. Okay, all right, cool. Keep it the way it is. Sunday mornings around 11 gives everybody time to get up. All right, I've been doing it. See, I love it. Yo, YouTube about to get blocked for not sending me a notification. Yo, what's up, Shalib? Yo, do we get a game in the Bay Area? I canceled my season ticket, man. Ah, that's terrible, bro. Oh, you want some more boxing? I'll do the boxing show on my other channel, guys. I'm establishing another channel down the dial too, man. So, all right, cool. All right, so listen, that's what's up. So let's get back to the ball, man. So listen, man, we got to talk about some key things, man. Some key things that are happening. Now, there's been a lot of noise around, the Raiders this week, and it's been for the wrong reasons, right? There's a lot of stuff being floated around about Brady. Now, I've done some shorts and stuff on this, man. But I wanted to get y'all thought on some of this stuff, man. I mean, this has nothing to do with the game, but I am really perplexed, man, how people are acting like, a guy being part owner of a team and announcing the game is such a big sticking point, bro. To me, I'll never understand it, bro. I'll never understand it. I will never understand it, right? But guys, look, we got to get into some issues here, right? Now we got our guy Ashton Jeanty, touches, feeding him the ball, and the Raiders being consistent, and Chip Kelly calling up more coherent game. I think Chip Kelly needs to get back to a situation where he's really putting in supreme work to try to win some of these games, because I think Chip Kelly calls games from a prism of him having the better athletes. I think his mindset and his pitch count is fine-tuned for college. Because listen, if it wasn't the way that he's been using Ashton Jeanty, I don't understand how anybody that has been around the game as long as Chip Kelly would not understand what it takes to get a running back like that going. Like I said in the beginning of the show, the opening of the show, that man needs minimum first 2 drives need to be focused around him, man. And Joey Cheek, and that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, bro, the things that are supposed to be a definite with the Raiders never are sometimes, bro. It's very, very maddening, bro. He goes, I can't believe we're talking about Chip. That's something I thought we finally nailed. Yeah, that's a fact, bro. That is a stone cold lead pipe fact and a half, bro. Yeah, man. Listen, we need a strong dose of Ashton. Listen, I'm not worried about so much of Raheem Mostert yet. I'm not worried about Mostert yet. I'm strictly on establishing the run with Ashton Jeanty, because listen, to me, this season is a failure if Ashton Jeanty doesn't get 1,000 yards in 17 games. This season is an abject failure, bro. That's like an average of 62 yards a game. It's an average of 62 yards a game, bro, to break 1,000 yards, man. I would imagine. 62 yards a game, bro. It might even be less than that, if I'm being honest, man. You know, Ashton Jeanty to get 1,000 yards, he needs 1,000 yards to justify the season. Yeah, 62 yards a game. If he gets 62 yards a game, that puts him at 1,054. So I'm telling you right now, he needs a game, bro. I'm telling you, this needs to be his coming out. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I've been a big supporter of Jeanty. I'm a supporter of the fact that it's early in the season. But it's early. But after week 3, you're at the quarter-way mark of the season. We got to start seeing you turn around a little bit. We got to see that. Oh, JB Killer VA says, I don't like what Ryan Clark said today on First Take, because he said Ashton Jeanty doesn't have that factor like Derrick Henry or Barkley, etc. Listen, you got to understand something about Ryan Clark, right? Ryan Clark's level of credibility is, to me, has been affected, right? Ryan Clark used to be one of the most honest and measured guys on that platform on ESPN, right? But I think what happens is once you start drinking from that goblet of Stephen A. Smith, right? And you see how much money Stephen A. is making. You see how Ryan Clark has his own podcast with the Pivot with Freddie T and these guys, right? So when you start talking about a guy like Ryan Clark, he sees what Stephen A. Smith has done. He sees that he's in the public consciousness in a way that he wasn't even in the consciousness of America when he was playing the game. For weeks on end, I've been hearing about hot takes from Ryan Clark, right? So I think, Ryan Clark just likes saying shit. Now, let me ask you a question right now. What happens if Jeanty goes out and he gets 160, 70 yards, a couple touchdowns? He looks everything he can be, right? Then he has another game and another game and another game, and he's rookie of the year. Then you still gonna say that? No, you're gonna walk it back. And then they compare him to Derrick Henry. Listen, Derrick Henry is something that we've never seen before in the history of this league. That guy is an animal. An animal. I don't understand how Reggie McKenzie fucking passed on him and took Jihad Ward and allowed that guy to be drafted by the Tennessee Titans. I don't get it. I do not. I will never understand. I was like, holy shit, we're going to get Derrick Henry in the second round. And he fucking passed on him, bro. That's classic, like, GMs overthinking and being stupid. Unbelievable. But listen, when you start talking about RC, right? Ryan Clark is a guy who is looking for the clickbait moment every show. He's looking for it. So the thing is for me, I need to see how Ryan Clark reacts when Jeanty starts taking off. Because Ryan Clark spoke very, very positively about Ashton Jeanty before he came to the Raiders. I think he's jumping on a bandwagon. For him to make that assessment, to me, like he was talking a couple weeks ago about this is the non-player in you. The non-player in me says that Ryan Clark is a goddamn jackwagon. He's a jackwagon. And the thing is, for me, I don't really think that these guys really watch all these teams. I don't. These guys are on the air all the time. He's not watching enough. He's watching highlights, man. Ryan Clark he doesn't have a fucking clue, man. D-Mac is in a place to be. He goes, I am not a Raiders fan, but it's easy for me to see that this young man is going to be very good for the Raiders. The Raiders just need to continue building that O-line. And, bro, I see the same thing, D-Mac. Anybody with a football brain can see that. Look, most of the time when you start talking about talent and things like that, what I see from Jeanty is he has the vision, right? He has the talent. He has that contact balance that a lot of people, he has elite contact balance, right? So when you start talking about that kid, if he works hard, he has the God-given ability and he has the strength and the speed. Eventually, he'll figure it out. If God blesses him and keeps him healthy, he's gonna figure it out. It's gonna be fine, man. All this Chicken Little, the sky's falling stuff, I think he's going to be fine, man. Yo, JB, man, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, man. OD Ready goes, F it. I want 80 to 100 yards from here on out from Jeanty. Let's hope so. But the thing is that, listen, it all starts up front. I know we say that that's a cliche, but that's one of the truest cliches in history. That's one of the truest cliches in history, man. It all starts up front, or colloquialism, or whatever we want to call it, right? It is one of the truest, most right on statements there is, man. It all starts up front, and the Raiders need to figure it out up front, man. Saquon Barkley with the Giants struggle. He got an O-line and bam. Jeanty, we'd be better with an O-line and success. But Saquon Barkley came out the gate with 1,000 yards. And I think that's the metric for him. You know, Derrick Henry came out the gate with 1,000 yards. I think that's the metric for Jeanty. Jeanty is the type of back that gets better as the game goes on. He can't get a rhythm. Only getting 11 touches a game. No, that's what I've been saying, man. My guy, Big Little Bosco. Wasted. Am I reaching being concerned about JPJ's head injuries playing guard? He will always be at risk. No, you're not. JPJ had head injuries in college as well. You are not wrong, because listen, Big Little Bosco, you played in the trenches, bro. You know what it is. Whether it's a dead ball or whether it's an incompletion or whether it's a run that gets stopped in the backfield or whatever, whether it's a touchdown. Every play, if you were on the field and you were playing guard, you are making contact with another person that is equally or bigger than you. That is a different kind of mixture right there. It's a different kind of mixture. I definitely think that JPJ needs to wear the Guardian cap or something like that. I definitely think that he got to be concerned, man. Anytime you get a concussion, we all know what concussions are. Your brain rattles around and shit like that. And I've had a few on my day, and they're not pleasant. They're not fun. They're not fun. This season should be looked at as a building season. The Raiders should have a 3-season plan with Carroll. Dan Raider, I know you're saying that, but most of us, we can't wait. We got to at least see a real markum of improvement. You can't sell me on, let's wait till next season. Let's be 6-10. To me, that's bogus. Not with the, like, if we're that bad, then that means that Geno Smith didn't work out. If we're that bad. Now we got to start stacking some good seasons on top of some good seasons, man. I'm tired of being the basement. Brock Bowers might be hobbled by the week. The brace on his leg took his agility away. Listen, really in the field, he's gonna be fine, bro. He's gonna get a little healthy. It just happened. Every day that knee is healing up, and every day you're getting closer and closer to having a real Brock. He's gonna be fine. Yeah, and like we said, Pete's here for a good time, not a long time. We got to get that dub. We got to start winning, bro. We got to start winning. My guy, Silver Smoke, man. They think Meredith communicates better than JPJ. You know what else JPJ communicates better than Meredith? He communicates ass whippings to players across from him. That's what he communicates, and that's what we need him to communicate. Like, if we're being real here, bro, we need somebody that's in the front of that line that is tossing motherfuckers around the curve. Oh my God, I told myself I wasn't gonna curse. I wanted to use this on audio pod. Salute to my brother Shalib, gifting 5 Raider Nation Unlimited memberships, making the Wasted Talent Army grow in droves. Salute to y'all, man. 6 to 8 win season. Then the next season after that should be a playoff with it. But see, Dan, it has to be 8. 6 is not enough of an improvement, bro. It's not enough of an improvement for anybody to hang their hat on and say the Raiders aren't a dumpster fire. We need to be anti-dumpster fire first. Bro, so let me ask you guys a question. We talked about it last night. I got a little more information. What do you guys think about this Antonio Pierce thing, man? Do you think anything's going to come out of it with the league? Let me ask you guys. Let me ask y'all a question. What do you guys think about this Antonio Pierce thing? Do you think anything's going to come out of this about the league? I'm waiting. What do y'all think about it? He said FAP, snitch. Yeah, nah, man. Pierce is a loser. That's what I think. Yeah, now that was really fucked up. Now, what I think is that I think that Tom Brady is not stupid enough to jeopardize $350 million. He's also not stupid enough to jeopardize his 10% stake in the Raiders because he wants his return on his investment. I think that Tom Brady comes from a school of thought and from people and coaches where they live by Raider rule number 1. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. You know, and that's the problem. That's the problem, man. You got to realize where you are. You got to realize in the National Football League, the hypocrisy in them going after one team and not another team for stealing shit from people. You know, I'm hoping that Brady gives us a little reprieve with the league, man. No, and listen, Raider Nation for Live, I make no bones about it. I'm going to tell you why I wanted AP. I wanted AP because I didn't think it was any way in hell that Jim Harbaugh was going to come here. If we're being honest, I'm like, well, shit, we don't have one of the top draft picks, you know. We don't have a young stud quarterback like Justin Herbert. We don't have that. We don't have a Derwin James in our secondary. I knew he was going to take the LA job. I knew that. Like, I knew it. It's the hyperbolic media. Knew that it would eventually come up. Yes, man. Bad move by AP. Like what Tony Ayo and Shannon Sharp said. Never bite the hand that feeds you and the head that fed you. That's a fact. They took care of him. They paid him more money than he's ever made, even as a player. You know, it didn't work out. You know, Brady came in there and he commenced to losing 8 games in a row. You can't keep your job like that. Hey, man, listen. You know what? Oh, you're talking this off. Oh, okay, I get it. But no, I feel you. DeMarcus Webb, look, I don't really talk about what other content creators do, right? Hey, nah, bro, we were just talking about it, Eric. Listen up, we still talking about it. We still talking about it. Listen, let me tell you something, bro. I'm not messy, right? I don't look, be for real with you. I don't really know bro like that. You know, we worked together before, but I've never really met bro. Like I don't have no kind of relationship with bro, right? But a person that, you know, comes from a certain element and has done certain things and been in a certain situation, can talk that shit because they not from that shit and they don't understand what comes with that. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, you know, a lot of these guys on YouTube, you know, and I guess it's a little late. I'm talking a little too much, but I don't really give a fuck, right? A lot of these guys, they're safe. So they do stuff like this because they've never been in a situation where they've ever been, you know, had to, you know, where they had to stand on the shit that they say. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I come from a different era, right? I come from a different place. You couldn't just go around saying shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So look, man, he could do what he want. I really don't give a fuck. You know, I don't want to talk about bruh. I don't have no problem with bro. We've worked together. When I first started in this game, he came on to a little show I was doing with my boy. He didn't know me from Adam. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna shit on dude. I'm not gonna shit on dude at all. You know what I'm saying? Much love to him and what he got going on over there. We're just different guys. I come from a different era. You gotta understand something, bro. I am a lot older than these dudes, bro. Almost every single one of them. Like everybody be talking about who old or who not. These guys, man, some of these guys are my nephew's age, man. I got nephews, bro. Like my nephew Jalil, man. My nephew Jalil is fucking 30 some years old. You know what I'm saying? They got kids of their own and shit like that, bro. These young cats, man, they can have at it. But bro, the thing about when you start talking that kind of shit, and then somebody comes and impress you, right? Or you know, a lot of these jokers, they talk a lot of shit, bro, because they don't never go nowhere. They don't go to games and shit like we do. You know what I'm saying? They not, you know, they don't have to worry about nobody doing it. They in the studio something. They don't got to worry about nobody doing nothing to them. So, like, you know, I don't mean to get off on this tangent. I guess because it's late and I'm sleepy. And I normally just fucking 1-2 out of shit like this because it's none of my fucking business, right? But you got to understand. So you got to understand what you're dealing with, man. This is a new era, man. A lot of dudes is not, they don't understand. They don't understand, bro. They don't get it. You know, we come from that era, guys like myself, Top Beats. You know, so we come from that era where, yo, man, if you say something, you might have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So salute to them, yo. Shout out to my brother Hug D's, man, dropping a $50 bomb on Raider Nation Unlimited, bro. AP looking for any in to help out his failing career. Lost an auto dealership, head coach, and now he's trying to drun up and dumb up shit to be relevant again. I just want us to never look like we did last Monday on offense for the rest of the season. That's a fact, Hug D's, and I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, bro, for keeping the lights on at Raider Nation Unlimited, my brother. But listen, bro, look, let's take a quick trip about Antonio Pierce, right? You know, because I'm not going to disrespect AP's football career, right? But listen, that transition from being a player to living in a life where you were not a player, right? Is that shit is different, bro. That's different, man. You know, Antonio Pierce is a guy who didn't do a good job with the Sun Devils. He is a guy who, you know, was a high school coach. He was a failed high school coach. Right? And this is not some smear campaign on Antonio Pierce, right? Right? He was a guy who worked for everything he got, right? But then back in 2014, he was named the head coach of national powerhouse Long Beach Polytechnic High School. He replaced Raul Lara, who stepped down as head coach after the program for 13 seasons, right? After an 11-2 first season, right, because he had the old players, the Jackrabbits struggled under Pierce. They missed the playoffs for the first time in 36 years in his second season at the helm. The struggles continue into 2016 and 2017 as well, guys, right? And the program failed to reach double-digit wins in both his years, getting blown out in the playoffs. Now, this is fucking high school. It's high school, guys, right? Then he goes to Arizona State, right? He announced his resignation as head coach and was named the linebacker coach at Arizona State University for 2 seasons as the Sun Devils linebacker coach. Pierce was promoted to co-defensive coordinator alongside Marvin Lewis, right? They were there under Herman Edwards. On January 20th, 2021, Pierce was elevated to sole defensive coordinator at ASU after sharing a role with Marv during the 2020 season. He resigned during the NCAA recruiting investigation prior to 2022. In August of 2023, ASU announced a self-imposed bowl ban, hoping to lessen the further penalties resulting in an ongoing investigation, right? So then Antonio Pierce was, you know, suspended from the NCAA, right? Determining that it was Pierce who was the ringleader in orchestrating the recruiting violation at ASU. They said he used his position of authority to pressure staff members into engaging in violations, often instilling fear that they would lose their jobs if they did not follow his orders. This including an assistant to commit recruiting tampering in intent to land a transfer, not in the transfer portal. He refused to cooperate with the investigation. Now, it's funny how he clammed up with something that he fucking did, right? Pearson's actions were described as a scheme involving Pierce taking individuals to a gentleman's club as part of recruiting visits. So he took them to a titty bar, right? The NCAA leveled an 8-year show cause penalty against Antonio Pierce. Should an NCAA school hire Antonio Pierce prior to 2032, he would serve a year-long suspension. You know, so look, man, this is a guy, and this is just football, right? Now, off the field, Antonio Pierce has had a crazy, crazy, crazy situation, bro. He married, his wife, right? He tried to run a car dealership. He's being sued. The car dealership has been screwed up. Antonio Pierce was also there when plexiglass shot himself in the Latin Quarter in New York. The guy has a weird karma around him, bro. He has a strange karma around him. Yo, he has a strange karma around him, bro. A strange karma around him, yo. You said he don't owe big bucks for a dealership? Did I say he owes big bucks, or did he lose a car dealership? Let's look. It's right on the internet, right? Let's look into that. He does owe big bucks, bro. Antonio Pierce faces a civil judgment totaling $28 million, bro. To Sean Reed at Athletic said that he recently filed a bankruptcy for Jocelyn Pierce that indicates that her husband, Raiders coach Antonio Pierce, is financially responsible for the $28 million in civil judgments. So, look, I'm going to put it to you like this, bro. This is a guy, and just based off of this, right? This is a man that, one, right, lacks a certain amount of credibility. So you got to take what he says with a grain of salt, because in every iteration of his professional life, he's been a liar. He's been a liar. Yeah, he's banned from coaching college football. He owes millions. Antonio Pierce is a guy that he's walking around in life with a bucket with a hole in it. He's a liar, right? And then him being from the street, right? Him being a man, right? There's just, look, and this has nothing to do with being from the street or being some kind of criminal or something, right? There's a certain amount of character that I expect for men to have, right? So when you make a mistake or you get fired, right? Now you're not, as Antonio Pierce, right? You're not looking at it from the prism of you got a job that you really don't deserve. You got guys that have been coaching in this league a long time. They paid their dues. They paid their dues big time, bruh. And they didn't get no head coaching job. You got a head coaching job largely for catching lightning in the bottle. And Dan Tessier, that's not a rumor. He loves the crap tables, right? But the thing is this, bro. Say, for instance, Tom Brady did give him some information, right? Which I doubt. And this is the reason why. Why would Tom Brady risk $350 million from Fox and then risk possible generational wealth from owning that 10 percentile of the Raiders? Because I think what winds up happening is with a lot of these guys when they get into this ownership stake, right? There's two things that could happen with the Raiders, right? Tom Brady could be the majority owner one day. He's a lot younger than Mark Davis. Mark Davis, from what I understand, doesn't have any children. He's not married. So who does the Raiders go to when he's no longer with us? Might go to Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a guy that can be the football head of this thing, right? He can be that guy when he's sitting at the table with Mark in that ownership group. Who has more credibility than Tom Brady? And when people talk about him giving information, bro, he's not allowed to be at other teams' practices. He's not allowed to be in those pre-production meetings and things like that, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you. Whatever information Tom Brady would give them just goes from his football acumen, him being able to watch film. I have access to the film. I can go back and look at the film next week and break the game down. But having a guy, an owner with that level of knowledge is not something that's new, right? Not for the Raiders, because we have Al fucking Davis. Al Davis was a coach, an offensive coordinator. Like, Al Davis could pick shit apart. All he needs is the film. That's all he needs. That's not mutually exclusive to the Raiders. There are other people in organizations that can give insight, bro. I think this is much to do about nothing. And I think that, this is sour grapes from guys like Florio and all these guys. And I don't think that guys like Florio and these media guys care. Anytime you bring up Tom Brady and anytime you bring up the Raiders, right, that is a fucking sandwich for clickbait. The Raiders and Tom Brady on top of it, that is a sandwich for clip. It's a sandwich for clickbait. A sandwich, bro. So Tom Brady, if Tom Brady looks at all 22 film and says, hey, man, what do you guys think about this? I noticed this. I noticed that. There's nothing wrong with him doing that. That has nothing to do with him being in the booth. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with him having a headset on. Hell, the owner of the Colts, Jim Irsay's daughter, is on the sideline taking notes. Nick Casario with the Texans, who's a GM, is in the booth with a headset on every week. Yo, for you to say that Al Davis did not know football, that goes to show me how young you are. Listen, you might have got a taste of Al at the end of his life, right? You got to understand what wound up happening with Al Davis at the end was he is a guy who bought the team, who got money lended to him. It was a lot cheaper to buy. This was not a $1 billion, $1 million league when Al Davis bought in. So Al Davis spent the last half of his life being in court all the time. But he is one of the most brilliant football minds in the history of this league, if you did not know this. Go do your history, my brother. Go do your history. He is the only man in the history of this league who's had every job besides player and referee. He was the commissioner of the AFL. He was a GM. He was a scout. He was an offensive coordinator. He was a head coach. Al Davis knew football, bro. You got to watch your mouth, young fella. You got to watch your mouth. Al Davis was fucking brilliant. I said he was a commissioner already. He was a commissioner of the AFL. He was the one who forced the merger of the NFL. It is a reason why when people say he was the godfather in the NFL, it's a fucking reason, bro. And I'm going to tell you something, because this is late night with Wasted, so I'm cussing like a sailor. During the day, it is a family show. We don't cuss like that. And I'm going to tell you why I don't. Because normally I don't really need to cuss like that. You guys know that I'm a pretty intelligent guy. I can pull some vernacular from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is this. The thing is this, man. When you talk about Al Davis, man, Al Davis was brilliant, man. He was a brilliant, brilliant man. He was a brilliant guy, man. A brilliant guy. People sit up there and, there'll never be another Al, bro. Some of the shit that he instituted to the game is listen, bro. I do not think that you guys really understand, bro. The guy was a scout, offensive line coach, wide receivers coach, head coach. And Al Davis did not have a losing record as a head coach, bro. Al Davis was 23-16-3 as a regular season as a head coach, bro. Al Davis had a winning record. 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time NFL Executive of the Year, AFL Coach of the Year in 1963. You watch your effing mouth, young fella. You watch your effing mouth. You watch your mouth. Listen, the one thing that we don't tolerate over here is we do not tolerate Al Davis slander. So listen, I know it's late. I'm not my normal self. But A. Gonzalez, you have been hereby sentenced to the gulag for the rest of the show. Go do your homework on Al Davis. You were sent to the gulags. You have been unceremoniously blocked from this episode of Raider Nation Unlimited. And just for you having those comments about Al Davis.
Man, you a bitch. You a bitch.
Yeah, man. I got to do it. I got to do it to you, bro. Unceremoniously blocked. The effing Godfather we talking about. The effing Godfather. The F is wrong with you, young fella. Man, that is epic. That's crazy to me. How the hell are you a Raider fan and you don't know that? What is wrong with you, boy? Man.
Angry man, what you doing here? Man, sit your ass down.
Yeah, man. Hey, Gonzalez, you had to sit your ass down, bro. Yo, come back next episode, bro. You will be welcomed with open arms, and you will be able to come here and repent to the Church of Raider Nation. The F up out of here with that crap. Talking about Big Al like that. Rest in peace, Big Al. Yeah, one-on-one. Look, I ain't firing on all cylinders, man. But guys, you know, these youngers, man, they don't know nothing, man. But guys, look, man. When we start talking about this Antonio Pierce thing, it's a guy that has zero credibility. And I don't know whether the league is going to look into it, because how do you substantiate the shit that you're saying? Right? But the thing is this, right? If they do investigate it and they can't find any proof of what Antonio Pierce is saying, I think Antonio Pierce needs to pay for that. Because, yo, that's sour grapes like a motherfucker, bro. You can cost Tom Brady $500 million, bro. You can cause him crazy paper by saying some shit like that. AP is bitter, bro. He's bitter. He liking pictures about the Raider Stadium. And all of that cosplaying as this super, I grew up the Raiders, I am a Raider, and all that shit. He's a fucking douchebag. Fuck that guy. Dan 20, what you mean he ain't do shit? What you talking about? What the F are you talking about, Danny? Dan 78, what are you talking about? What you mean? Let me know, brother. Do you think AP didn't do anything? Because I think you're wrong, bro. Certified clown. Oh, Brady. I'm about to say, Dan, the F you talking about. Listen, bro. Listen. That's some corny shit right there, bro. That's super. I don't care. You don't have to be no like street dude to have morals, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because most of these guys is, you know, everybody talk about this little code because these, you know, people watch the internet and they listen to hip hop and shit like that. You know, everybody, you know, comes from some code. Like, you know, most of these fucking guys don't come from nothing like that, right? But the one thing, just as a man, just as a guy that's been in the locker room, just as a person that got paid a lot of money, right? Yay, pick Luke Getsy. You talking about the quarterback, bro. You the one who, this whole Gardner Minshew shit. You should have put your foot down. If you didn't feel like this was the right situation, you had a right control, don't take the job. You the one who picked Luke Getsy. You the one who went out there and flew over your head. Now, I'm not saying they gave him everything he needed to win, bro. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. But I don't want to get into that shit, man. Shout out to my guy, Thor, in the place, man. Yo, I ain't seen Thor in a month of Sundays, man. I got to get out to Vegas, man. Every time Thor come to the East Coast, man, like last year, I couldn't get up with him because every time he comes out here, bro, I was doing something with my family, bro. The one thing about me is, bro, when my kids got something going on, bro, I don't miss it. I don't miss it for nobody. I got love for everybody. But when my kids got something important going on, I don't miss it, bro. You would never, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless I have to work. There have been times I've taken vacation days and all kinds of shit to be there for my children, bro. I don't miss nothing when it comes to my kids, bro. Nothing. Shit, if I was AP, I would have put Jacoby at QB. Yo, you tripping, bro. I know, right? Yeah, man. Yo, family first, bro. We don't do that. But, bro, all of this stuff about dudes, talking about, AP and people calling people bitches, it's easy to do that, dog. The only thing I'm going to say is that, yo, he has no credibility as a man, doing shit like that. That's really fucked up and corny because the Raiders gave you a shot. You have on your resume that you were a former NFL head coach. And yeah, you were 4-13 one year. You had a 500 record the other year, and that means something. He could get another job being a coordinator in this league and maybe work his way up because he's had a past head coaching job and he had some mark of success. So the Raiders helped him. He would have never gotten a head coaching job if not for the Raiders. Never. Like, not at all, bro. Like, it's no reason to give that guy a head coaching job. It's no reason, bro. Like, yo, it would have took him a decade for him to have a dominant defense to get it. It took Rex Ryan a long time and a lot of fucking success, too, for Rex Ryan to become a head coach in the National Football League. Took him a hell of a long time, bro. A hell of a long time. So, guys, I haven't really broken shit down, right? So let me ask you guys a question, right? Jeanty is in a spot where he has to, I think for the Raiders to win, Jeanty has to have over 100 yards. Right? I think Geno Smith has to throw 2 to 3 touchdowns this game. I think Geno Smith has to cut down on the interceptions. I am concerned about this Washington Commander wide receiver core. These guys are very, very talented. And Marcus Mariota can't get them the ball, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is a tough matchup for our secondary. Kai Blue Kelly and all of these guys. This is a tough matchup. I want to see what Pete Carroll and what Patrick Graham has cooked up for dialing up some pressure to get into Marcus Mariota, to hit him a little bit, to throw him off his square. Because let me tell you something. The Raiders need this win like they life fucking dependent on it, bro. They need this win. You can't go to Washington and lose this game with a backup quarterback, bro. Balance, bro. Like somebody just said in the chat, balance, balance, balance. Yes, man. You need to have balance, bro. You need, I think this needs to be a run-first offense this week. 100%, bro. How do we get a running back with 100 yards of this line? Very, very simple, bro. Right? Max protect, right? Bringing in a lineman, a backup lineman. Bringing in Alex Kappa, putting him at tight end. Showing the Skins that you are committed to the run. And commit to it. 3 yards in a cloud of dust, man. Guys doing their job better. Jackson Powers Johnson being back in the fold is huge. 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 I think that he can get 100 yards. I do, man. Yeah, listen. You guys remember Andy Dalton? He shredded us. We thought that was a definite dub. Nah, man, the Raiders got to go out there and treat this, man, like the season is on the line. Geno need to just play slower and get first downs instead of always trying to make the big play. And that's a fact, bro. That's a fact. Listen, if you're able to get the running game started in a positive way, and Geno does his job and takes what the defense gives him and moves the ball and matriculates the ball down the field in a more contained, slower manner, I think that Jeanty, they're not going to know which way. I think the play action pass is going to be stellar. And I think once the play action pass, then they're going to start, you know, they're gonna take some of the guys out of the box, and then you start running downhill with Ashton Jeanty, bro. Balance is what opens everything up, man. John James, Crosby versus rookie. If he don't come away with at least 2 sacks, then look, and that's another thing, right? It's not just about Max Crosby. If you ask me, this Raider defense at large needs to produce, bro. This Raider defense at large, they need to produce, bro. This defense, it needs to be more than Jonah Lualu and Max Crosby. It needs to be more than those two. I need for Tyree Wilson sighting today. I need for Malcolm Kuntz sighting. It needs to be more than them. And the thing about this situation is this. We talk about our secondary, but the best way to help out a secondary is a coherent and consistent pass rush, man. This is a big game for our defensive front four, man. I am Hilltop is in a place. He goes, I predicted a solid game for Geno. His tape sessions allow him to review, refocus, revise his actions in the pocket. Raider Nation for life. This is the thing with Geno, man. Geno never saw a deep ball he didn't like. That's not something that you can kind of take out of your DNA, right? I want Geno to take chances, right? That's why we love him. But the most important thing that Geno needs to do, right, is Geno and this Raider offense needs to play with good tempo coming out. Geno needs to get to a place where Geno gets rid of the football quickly. He keeps that defense off guard. You know, when you getting rid of that ball, you moving that ball, you start running the ball, it becomes something different, bro. Shalib, I don't want to see another Zamir White snap. Get him off of kickoff returns too. Dude got no moves, no vision. The boy might got glaucoma. Yeah, no, that's a fact, bro. Shout out to my brother Andy in the place to be, man. We need to win by 2 scores and have over 100 yards rushing for me to believe that we're trending in the right direction as a team and as an organization. Look, Andy, what we believe and what's actually happening on the field are 2 totally different things, right? Look, I'm not asking anybody to buy it. It's up to the Raiders to play a certain level of football and actually have people buying in because they have no other choice. You know what I'm saying, Andy? Like, all of the posturing and all of the rah-rah shit from us as fans is not going to help them on that field, bro. And to me, if they win by 1 point, it's a win. I don't really care, man. Like, you know, you don't get any style points for wins in the NFL, bro. Style points, I've seen teams that have blown people out, like the Raiders, man. We've blown the Chargers out. We blew them out. We scored 6-7 points on them. And we were still fucking horrible that year. So it don't matter to me, bro. Style points don't mean anything to me, man. At the end of the season, if we have more wins than losses, that's what was downtown for me. Whether we make the playoffs, it was downtown for me. We don't necessarily know how this is going to turn out. We have an amalgamation of unproven guys. And I said this offseason. A lot needs to go right for the Raiders to even trend in a direction to where they make a marketable improvement. The Raiders are already, I think having a better head coach than Antonio Pierce awards you another 2 wins. Because there were some games when Antonio Pierce was here where he lost them because of his ineptitude as a coach. And then now he's trying to cast aspersions on the Raiders because of his ineptitude as a man. This is an inept guy. The only thing that's ever made sense for him is being on the football field. Oh, the Raiders. Let's not forget that Al brought a team that was more like a high school team and grew them into the Raiders that we know today. He didn't know football, shaking my head. Yeah, man, what a fucking jackwagon. Yo, as crazy as this sounds, this game is more important than last week's because this will tell us if we are a new, well-coached team or we're the same old Raiders. Last week's L to a talented team. Yo, and bro, that's a fact, right? But at the end of the day, right, you can be a well-coached team that loses by 1. You could be a well-coached team that loses by 1, right? So, look, I know that the team is well-coached. I know that the guys want to win. You know, it's not like they're going out there, they're dogging it. But I just think that there's a prerequisite amount of talent that you need to have that I don't think that the Raiders have a certain, and I'm talking about a certain amount of proven day in and day out, week in and week out, year in and year out talent. The Raiders have a lot of young players with a lot of talent if they can be developed, though. And it's not high-end talent that's first-round guys, right? You got guys like Brock Bowers, of course. You got guys like Jeanty, of course, right? But there are a lot of guys like Porter. He is a guy that his physical archetype would lead you to believe that he can be made into a good player. But the fact that he doesn't have a lot of snaps in college, he doesn't have a lot of experience being a cornerback, right? It is going to be very, very, very hard to develop him into a great player. The idea of who he is, his physical archetype is great, but can he be developed, right? Dante Thornton, can he be developed? Can he turn into a high-end receiver? These are all questions that have not been being answered, bro. I'm predicting either a blowout by another backup QB or a low-scoring defensive game where our offense looks bad again but come out with the win. Paper Chase, what would make you come with that kind of an assessment? That's crazy, bro. My guy, Sir Chai, 87 with the $2 slappy. I watched this Raiders game. We better win this. Look, man, from your lips to God's ears. That's a cold-ass take, though, bro. You deserve to be in the gulags with that. TL Tibbs, man. Sunday will tell us everything we want to know about this team. There is no way they should not win this game. And yes, a win is a win, but it would be nice to see it done decisively. But, bro, why do y'all feel like the Raiders should definitely win this game? This is a 1 o'clock game on the East Coast, which the Raiders have been historically bad. And it's not like the Raiders are going to play the Washington Commanders and they're playing a guy that, you know, we've never seen throw a pass. Marcus Mariota was a playoff quarterback. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's a second pick. The guy, Marcus Mariota, is not a shitty quarterback. He's had some bad luck with injuries and kind of fell out of favor. And you know how this league is, man. The winds of change happen very, very quickly, right? They don't have as much patience because of how much money they pay these guys. It's a hard cap sport. You can't pay somebody that's terrible. They didn't even allow Marcus Mariota to dig himself out of the situation he was in. They got rid of him. So Marcus Mariota can win games in his league. Let's not make any mistakes about that. Let's not make any effing mistakes. Wasted. What is the state of the special teams? Can we blindside them early with a great special teams play and limit yardage a game? Yo, we have a great special teams unit, man. I'm very proud of what Tom McMahon has done with this team. Great special team. A lot of young guys. What I want to see is I want to see Dylan Labe get the ball in space. Dylan Labe is a guy that I want to see get some kick returns. I want to see Trey Tucker get some more kick returns. Trey Tucker is electric and fast. You know, this is what we need. We definitely need a big special teams play, man. We have the Bears, Colts, and Titans coming up. This will be a great win. And this is the thing. Nothing is given, right? The Colts are a damn good football team. The Colts are surprising some people, bro. The Colts might make the playoffs. They are a damn good ball club, man. Damn good ball club. The Bears, listen, yo, they're no slouches either. They got a lot of talent over there, man. But guys, don't sit up here and say that this game is like some tomato can kind of game. That's not what we're dealing with. They say Mariota's limited. I mean, when Mariota's healthy, he's not really limited, bro. Got to show the nation we can win games consistently. This is the only way we will ever achieve a home field advantage versus well-traveled fan bases, bro. That's a fact. Cliff Kingsbury should have been in Vegas right now. I mean, Andy, you know the thing is this, right? When the Raiders had Cliff Kingsbury in the building, right? And he was probably told that they weren't going to move heaven and earth to move up in the draft to draft the quarterback. And that they weren't sold on any of these quarterbacks. Why would Cliff Kingsbury stay around at this point? You only get a couple of bites at the apple. I'm not. When Coupon, he probably had a conversation with Coupon Tom, and Coupon Tom didn't tell him something he wanted to hear, and he left. And I'm not mad at him. And look at that. He goes over there, gets Jaden Daniels, Rookie of the Year, 1 game away from the Super Bowl in year 1. And the thing about Cliff Kingsbury is it's always good for him to be there for a good time and not a long time, because that air raid offense, Andy, as you know, you being the X's and O guys, you know, right? Yo, the air raid offense is great until it gets figured out. It only, you know, I think that, yo, their window, Cliff might need to change it up a little bit. And see, you know, the funny thing, it's crazy. If I'm Cliff Kingsbury, I would have stayed, because he was more qualified to be the head coach than Antonio Pierce. He could have, to me, Cliff Kingsbury should have fucked around and took his job from him. Cliff Kingsbury is an excellent coach. My guy, Bodega. Yeah, what I mean is this game tells us if we capitalize on a beat-up team or a team without their superstar QB, or if we're the same old team that doesn't. Obviously, all our appointments are 1% of professionals. Yeah, that's a fact, bro. But at the end of the day, right, I think that this game would be an indictment on how good the team is if Jaden Daniels was playing. But still in all, right, the Commanders have a talented roster, bro. And Marcus Mariota is no slouch. That's the joy of having a backup that's been a vet and has done a lot in this league, man. I've seen Mariota cook even with us. He could work magic in a game or two. That's a fact, man. Telling you right now, yo. But guys, listen, man. It's time for me to pull the train back into the train station. It's late. It's been a very low energy late night waste. But I think it was a decent show, right? It's a decent show, man. You guys want us to keep talking ball? Because I think we've beat this thing to stuffing, man. We've beat this thing like, oh my God, man, like Sarah J. We beat this thing like Sarah J, man. They said these late night shows are the best. I appreciate it, man. Thank y'all, man. Look, we're gonna get back to the daytime shows too, because that's where we cook, you know. But the late night waste is definitely gonna be something that we continue to do on the weekends and when I got the time and stuff like that, man. I really enjoyed doing this, man. I really enjoyed tapping in with y'all. I enjoyed the over 300 people that was in here on a late night on a live that we didn't even plan. Man, it has been phenomenal, man. I'm going to get some rest. You guys have a terrific game. Watch some college football too, guys. Watch some college football, because when we start ramping up towards the end of the season or talk about the draft, I want you guys to know who the hell we talking about. Watch some college football, guys. Guys, Wake Up with Wasted Sunday morning. Post-game show. Going to be lit as usual. Y'all have a terrific night, man. Love every single one of y'all, man. Appreciate every single one of y'all, man. Y'all have a good night, man. Peace.